the difference for me was really embracing where my life was going and owning it. And being honest with myself about what the dream I had was for. Like, when I started making music, it was like to entertain people, but to inspire people, and to build a network of people that cared about similar issues and to impact the world in a way. But somewhere along the line, when chasing your dream, you get blinded by like money and fame and all the lights and the cameras, and I confused that with being my dream for a while. So, when I had my daughter, I went on tour to Korea when my daughter was 3 months old. So I had this, got booked for an international tour, which is a big deal for me, and was having a great time, performing 8 shows in 6 days or whatever it was, and just rocking out and getting mad love. But I missed my daughter so much, you know what I'm saying? To the point where I had, like, on the plane ride home, just a whole thought about, what really matters to me? Do I want to be, famous, or do I want to be happy? You know what I'm saying? Do I want to spend my time worried about what people who I don't know think about me, or do I want to be there for my family and my daughter and my wife and create a lifestyle for them that can give them opportunities that I didn't have? Like, what really matters to me? So the transition kind of happened naturally after I went through that process and realized, everything that I'm working hard for is for that. Like, I'm trying to create this family, and this is what I've always wanted. And that sort of sparked, I think, what you would describe as activism. I guess I'm an activist in some ways, but I'm not. I want to give all respects to the people that are really on the front lines. But I'm just passionate about creating a better world for my kids, so I fight for that. So that's where the transition was just natural. It was like, what matters to me, centering what my dream actually is. And that was really what I'm doing now, being here for my family and creating opportunities for other people.
That is it's selfless. I don't even like that word. I think I've been like, but it's grounding,
Yeah.
It's grounding to think about like more than just yourself, while still like you're still benefiting. So like you're able to live the dream, and I guess it's success, right? Like success has different definitions for different people. I'm just wondering, how would you define success?
Ah, man. I was hoping you didn't ask me that.
Is it cliche? Oh, damn.
No, it's just a tough one to answer. Because it's multifaceted, right? Like, success though is happiness, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I had this debate with somebody recently, and they were like, I don't think happiness is the goal. Like, I don't think being happy is what they were like. I don't think that maybe she said being happy isn't possible. Nobody's happy all the time, right? And I think we think about happiness as like, I'm always smiling and laughing and everything is going good. But that ain't what I think about when I think of happiness. I think of the feeling of like being able to look in the mirror and be proud of who you are, right? And like being proud of what you stand for and being able to sleep peacefully at night knowing that you gave it your best shot. Like, that's success for me, right? Being happy. And I ain't saying that I've arrived there, but I know what I'm looking for. And I'm not looking for happiness from the outside world. I'm talking about like internal happiness. You know what I mean? Like, that's success, I guess. There's some things that go along with it, things that I want, you know what I mean? Like, I want some shit, right? Like, but what I have some things too. And, being, like you mentioned, being around Dame and being around Snoop and Jermaine Dupri and Birdman and, Rolls Royces and Bentleys and mansions and seeing firsthand, like, that don't really bring happiness. Like, it sounds cliche. People say it all the time. And when you don't have any money, you like, yeah, right, let me just get some money and see, right? Like, let me see if that makes me happy. But being around that and having some success myself and having some things, like, the things don't make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might make you more comfortable, or really those things make you when you're around other people, I think like your insecurities, you be like, look at my car, now you feel better about yourself. Sorry. But that ain't happiness. And so me, like, I'm driving towards being happy and being able to look in the mirror like, yeah, I'm comfortable with who this dude is.
It's a painful lesson to learn. I mean, that's another book within itself. Like my book, I Got Issues, I didn't even talk about half the lessons that I learned, like in it, I think. And really maybe because I hadn't learned them yet.
Yeah.
But just going for things from the outside instead of going for things from the inside out, working from the outside in, it will create frustration. And I've been there. I know what that feels like. And I've been in that exposure will do it to you every time if you're not solidly grounded.
Yeah.
And I think there's a one of my favorite people. She was saying, someone had asked her, like, she was a life coach, and anyway, she was saying that, well, I might be miserable in divorce, but at least I can cry in my Maserati. What can you do? That was like, oh, like, I mean, I guess that's a perspective. That's a shift in perspective. But
that's a really hollow one to me though. Like that one ain't like, man, I'm like, yo, I've been like in the presence of like these, Kanye and like these guys that got everything financially, you know what I'm saying? And I would much rather, keeping it a band, much rather smile and be happy with a regular ass life than be crying in a Maserati. I ain't, that's just not that ain't my thing, man. Like, cause that Maserati gonna eventually break down on your ass. And, the human beings that matter in your life are much more important. You know what I mean? And I like cars and shit, don't get me wrong. And I like driving a nice car and, like the house we live in, and I'm grateful for those things. But it's my family, my wife, kids, my mother, that's the shit, right? That's what I want to make them proud and keep them safe. So look, that lady that said that, I feel that broke my heart. I felt bad for her in that moment. Like, damn.
It's a shift in perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shift in perspective. To think about it that way, I guess being on the other side and seeing how people struggle through life who don't have, it can be very extreme, and then I don't know, like it is a whole nother conversation and exploration within itself, to understand the mind of a rich person or the minds of rich people. Like everybody doesn't, what is rich, right? That I want to circle back around to what you said about happiness and internal happiness. That was, and I thought it was so cool. I practice Buddhism. I've been practicing for like, I don't know, 13 years.
Almost as long as I've known you, I think.
Yeah, like, and I was born in the Nation of Islam. Like I was born Muslim. Like,
your pops was FOI or something, right?
Yep, mother was MGT, daddy was FOI, bean pies and bow ties. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I got a lot of love for the nation. I know it's complex, but I got a lot of love for the nation. But anyway, another podcast, another talk.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it's so like my father and my mother, and that was one of the things that I didn't even bring up. Like my father became a Muslim in jail, like a lot of Black men do, he robbed banks. So when you talk about violence stemming from poverty, I mean, he had 5 daughters, that he couldn't feed. He lost his job, and he ended up robbing banks to put food on the table.
Yeah.
In a friendly way in Baltimore, Maryland. And then he went to jail and, did his little bit of time, found Allah, and then met my mama when he got out. And then they had me.
Yeah.
They're nice, righteous marriage.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool though. That's really cool. And I'm sure he's happy he had you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, God rest his soul.
There's so much in that story though. So much in so much of what you just said is so many Black people's story, right? Like poverty, scarcity led me to make a decision, and now I'm paying the consequences, and now so is my family. Like one of the things, I'm going way off the rails now, but I lived downtown Durham for like the past 7 years, and the jail is like right in the middle of the city, and on Sundays, I guess, is like visitation day. And the most heartbreaking scene is all these mothers with their kids standing outside the jail, making signs to their, you know what I mean, to their father or their husband or whoever is inside.
Yeah.
And it's so many of them, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not the same people every weekend. It's a different cycle of people and their black faces, all heartbroken, and the system is failing us. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's beautiful that your father was able to overcome that in some ways and find religion to help guide him through and have your beautiful self, you know what I'm saying, come into the world. But it's just frustrating. That's why I'm passionate about economics, because it's rooted in that. You know what I mean? Like, it's all economics, and it's a capitalist country, so it's everything is economics. Anyway, go ahead.
And but it's economics. I don't understand economics. Like, I feel like I'm on this path, like this financial journey right now, just because I want to transform my financial karma.